The world held its breath. The Cold War had cast a long, dark shadow across the globe. It was a time of suspicion, of secrets whispered in dimly lit rooms. The United States and the Soviet Union, locked in an ideological struggle, were obsessed with gaining an advantage over the other. It wasn't just about bombs and missiles. It was about controlling the very thoughts and actions of men. This fear, palpable and pervasive, became the breeding ground for one of America's most unsettling chapters, Project MKUltra. In the early 1950s, a chill ran down the spine of America. The Korean War raged on, and whispers of communist brainwashing techniques sent shivers down the spines of government officials. Stories circulated of American soldiers captured and reprogrammed to betray their own country. These tales, though later proven exaggerated, struck a nerve. Panic set in. The US, it seemed, was vulnerable. This fear was not unfounded. The Soviet Union was indeed exploring mind control techniques. They called it psychopolitics, a terrifying blend of psychology and political manipulation. The US, desperate to keep pace, felt pressure to develop their own methods of psychological warfare. The CIA, newly formed and eager to prove its worth, stepped into the void. Thus, in the murky depths of Cold War paranoia, Project MKUltra was born. It was a top-secret program, hidden even from the prying eyes of Congress. Its mission to delve into the darkest corners of the human mind, searching for ways to control it, to weaponize it. MKUltra was a dangerous gamble, a descent into the unknown, fueled by fear and shrouded in secrecy. The Red Scare, a wave of anti-communist hysteria that washed over America, provided fertile ground for MKUltra to take root. Senator Joseph McCarthy, with his fiery speeches and unsubstantiated accusations, fanned the flames of fear. Communists, he claimed, were everywhere, lurking in the shadows, ready to subvert the American way of life. This climate of suspicion and paranoia gave the CIA the cover they needed. MKUltra, they argued, was a necessary evil, a way to fight fire with fire. If the Soviets were developing mind control techniques, then America had to be prepared to counter them. The stakes, they claimed, were nothing less than the survival of the free world. The perceived threat of communist brainwashing, though often exaggerated, played directly into the fears of the American public. The idea of an enemy that could control your thoughts, that could turn you against your own country, was terrifying. This fear, expertly manipulated by those in power, silenced dissent and created a climate where even the most morally questionable actions could be justified in the name of national security. The problem was the CIA's understanding of the threat was often based on rumor and speculation. The stories of brainwashed soldiers returning from Korea were largely anecdotal, lacking hard evidence. But in the charged atmosphere of the Cold War, facts mattered less than the perception of a threat. MKUltra, born out of this toxic mix of fear and misinformation, was allowed to flourish in the shadows, its true nature hidden from the public eye. At the helm of this clandestine operation was Allen Dulles, the first civilian director of Central Intelligence. A cunning strategist and master manipulator, Dulles believed that to win the Cold War, America had to be willing to fight on all fronts, even those hidden from the public eye. He saw MKUltra as a necessary gamble, a way to explore the uncharted territory of the human mind for strategic advantage. Dulles found a willing accomplice in Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, a brilliant but eccentric chemist with a chilling fascination for the darker side of science. Gottlieb, who headed the CIA's technical services staff, became the architect of MKUltra, overseeing its growth from a small-scale research project into a sprawling network of covert operations. Gottlieb, driven by a single-minded pursuit of results, had few qualms about the ethics of his methods. He believed that any means justified the end, especially when it came to combating communism. Under his leadership, MKUltra embraced a wide range of experimental techniques, some bordering on torture, all in the name of unlocking the secrets of mind control. The team assembled by Dulles and Gottlieb read like a who's who of the American scientific elite. Psychiatrists, chemists, psychologists, all were recruited, some unwittingly, into the program's web. Universities, hospitals, and research institutions across the country became unwitting collaborators, their facilities and resources co-opted for the CIA's dark purpose. The human cost of MKUltra is perhaps best exemplified by the tragic story of Frank Olson. Olson, a biochemist working with the CIA, was unwittingly dosed with LSD by his colleagues. Struggling with the psychological aftermath, Olson's life took a dark turn, leading to his mysterious death in 1953. But Olson was not the only victim. Dr. Ewan Cameron, a prominent psychiatrist, conducted brutal experiments on patients without their consent. These individuals were subjected to intense electroshock treatments and sensory deprivation, leaving many with lasting psychological damage. The stories of Frank Olson and the patients of Dr. Cameron serve as a grim reminder of the human cost of unchecked scientific experimentation. These are not just tales from the past, they are stark warnings for the future. In the mid-70s, the Church Committee unearthed the disturbing details of MKUltra, sparking public outrage. As the extent of the program's violations became known, the CIA scrambled to destroy evidence, shredding countless documents. The attempts to erase the past only fueled further mistrust and suspicion. The legacy of MKUltra is, well, one of deep trauma and enduring mistrust. Survivors of the experiments were left with lasting psychological scars, while the public's faith in government transparency and ethics was profoundly shaken. The echoes of this dark chapter continue to resonate today. Over the years, MKUltra has seeped into popular culture and the collective imagination. From movies to conspiracy theories, the program's shadowy operations have inspired countless stories, reflecting society's fascination with and fear of unchecked power. The story of MKUltra serves as a stark reminder of the fragile line between security and morality. It challenges us to consider the ethical boundaries of scientific research and the lengths to which a government might go in the name of national security. The lessons of MKUltra are undeniably as relevant today as they were decades ago.